Hi everyone, this is Jason Hodge of Medical Fitness Pros, and today I was inspired to talk about fitness failure versus fitness success. And it's something that a lot of people struggle with. They have trouble achieving goals long term. They try to get on the right track, they try to achieve results, but it's funny how you have some people that achieve it and some people that feel like they fail miserably at achieving success. And I talk about fitness as far as that kind of being the end goal. It's not necessarily fitness that is the case. It could be anything from weight loss to recovering from an injury. There's a lot of different reasons, a lot of different things people have as far as goals. And so I want to talk briefly about what the difference is between someone that achieves their goals and someone that struggles with it for a long time. So I'm gonna give a few people a time for a few people to log in, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on what you feel like is the difference between those that achieve results and those that do not, and what makes those that are successful, why they are successful, why they achieve what they're after, and why a lot of people just really struggle to achieve the goals they're after. So I'm really curious to hear. First off, I'm really curious to hear what you think, what you feel like the reason is people achieve their goals versus not. What is the difference? Is the difference a certain environment, a certain place, a certain background? What do you feel like is the biggest difference between those that are successful and those that struggle and never quite achieve their goal? What do you think is the biggest factor in that? And kind of think in your mind what you feel like is the biggest factor. Think in your mind what you think is actually what separates those that achieve their success and those that do not. I mean, do you feel like it's the environment? Do you feel like it's the background in sports, athletics before? Or do you think it's something maybe they didn't get injured? Or do you think maybe medical conditions? What do you feel like is the biggest factor that keeps one person from being successsul versus the next person that's successful? What is that separating factor that you believe breaks everything apart? So get that in your head a little bit, and I'm gonna share with you what I feel like is the biggest factor to determine success versus failure. And it's not what a lot of people think. It's not what you may think. It's not necessarily the sports background. It's not necessarily the injuries or surgeries in the past, or it's not necessarily an insurmountable amount of weight to lose. It's not necessarily friends that are around them, there's a lot of different things that are helpful and important, but it really comes down to one simple thing. So if I'm gonna simplify this, and if you're watching right now and you want to chime in and tell me what you think is the thing that makes those that are successful versus those that are not, I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'd love to hear what you think, why you think other people are successful, or why you feel like you are successful versus others. Because it's not always it's not what people think a lot of times that make people successful. And we see those that achieve results, we see those that struggle, and it really comes down to some real simple things. It's not necessarily something magical that we have here. When we work with people, we do our best to give them education and accountability and link them up with other people for motivation. We strive to help them out with those things, but I still don't feel like that's the biggest factor when it comes to achieving long-term results. So I'm not going to ramble on and on about a lot of different things. I'm going to be real specific on what I feel like is truly the factor. And I will say there's a lot of things. I would say that background and exercise and working out can be very helpful. It can also be detrimental if you have some of the wrong ideas about things and you've been taught incorrectly and it leads to injuries, or maybe you had that discipline at one time. I've seen people that actually had backgrounds in powerlifting and bodybuilding where they had really intense levels of success with their fitness, and they still ended up struggling for the rest of their life as far as fitness goes. So don't feel like it's something where it's only those that have had a background in athletics. If you think it's maybe those that never had injuries or never had a medical condition or surgery, those do play a huge factor, and I totally understand. I've had a back injury back January 2000, so I understand how an injury can affect you, and it does affect you, right? I mean, it does impact your will and your desire to work out sometimes. Sometimes whenever you would like to work out, you're still in pain and you can't do what you want to do. But it also helps you appreciate those times that you are feeling better. Whereas others that have never gone through that, they don't understand the difference between, they don't understand the opportunities they have at times whenever they're not in pain. So I can't really say injuries or medical conditions are always the case either. Certain medical conditions actually affect the ability to lose weight. You start taking prednisone. That obviously impacts some things. You see a lot of weight gain from it, and it negatively affects you. Let's say you have a thyroid condition, that impacts you. You start gaining a lot of weight from it. But I still don't feel like that's the thing that separates someone that is successful at fitness versus those that are not. What about the environment? Those that are surrounded by other people, and that's a huge part of things. Let's say you're surrounded by other people who want to exercise, and your friends and family. And you know what? That's absolutely understandable. You've got people that are around you, and they eat unhealthy and they don't exercise. And you know what? That can impact you. But if you really wanted to achieve success, it wouldn't stop you from making new friends, hanging out with different people, finding people that you're wanting to be around that will encourage you as well. And so, while it's a factor, I think that particular thing will change over time, because you realize that as you start doing the things that are healthy, you start finding yourself surrounded by people that are healthier as well. So what is the factor? What's the factor that makes someone really successful? And I see Joycelyn just chimed in. I would love to hear Joycelyn's opinion on this, because she's somebody that I truly look up to. I've seen her come a long way. I was always really impressed with how good she did. And I'd say she's a role model for a lot of people, because she overcame a lot of obstacles and has continued to overcome obstacles, and she's been amazing. So she's got her story on our website, and I'm super proud of her and all she achieved. So Joycelyn, if you get a chance to, I'd love to hear your answers to this question. But so what is it that makes someone successful versus those that do not? What is it that makes someone that achieves their goals and long-term results, accomplishes goals, keeps those accomplishments, keeps making new results, keeps making new accomplishments, keeps changing, keeps modifying? What is it about them that makes them successful? Well, I will tell you this. I would say people that are healthy and people that are unhealthy have failures. They have injuries, they have medical conditions, they have the same setbacks, they have the same problems, they have the same struggles, the same things to overcome. You cannot be long-term successful if you have not overcome those same obstacles, those same conditions, those same problems. And so I understand you get hung up and you keep getting sidetracked and you keep trying to achieve results, you keep trying to achieve your goals, but suddenly you get derailed. That is part of the process, and it's a beautiful process, because what happens in that situation is that you learn to overcome it. You get stronger, you learn to adapt. You learn to know that whenever you have to leave town, there's a healthy way to eat, and that you can still stay on your diet when you're out of town. You learn that when you leave town to go somewhere, you find ways to exercise there. And so while you struggle with those obstacles when you're first getting started, your long-term success is directly tied into your ability to learn how to overcome those obstacles in a daily type of situation. When you're out and about and you don't have anything to eat and you end up breaking out and eating something that's not healthy for you, until you learn to overcome that obstacle, until you learn to be able to deal with that situation in a healthy way, you're always going to struggle. And you can never actually 100% get there if you haven't learned how to overcome that obstacle. So again, it's nothing that someone that struggles versus someone that's successful. We all overcome those same obstacles, those same problems, those same struggles. And your ability to learn and change and adapt from those and get stronger is directly tied into your long-term success. So the thing I would say that is one of the most powerful things and what keeps some people successful versus those that fail and struggle to achieve what they're after, I believe it comes down to this. One thing is you keep trying. You don't give up. You never give up. And Joycelyn just comments. I'm going to check and see. Yeah, never going back. So Joycelyn is awesome. So thanks so much for typing that out. And she's surrounded by people that are at the gym, and she's surrounded by people that are good influencers for her and keeps her on track, and it doesn't let her, she can't slip back now. She's got too many people she depends on, and too many people that depend on her as well. That's a huge part of things. So, but what she had to do, and what you have to do, is if you're trying to achieve this long-term success, you can never, ever be willing to accept giving up. You can never accept it. You can't. There's nothing wrong with a setback. There's nothing wrong with a struggle, a failure, going backwards, staying the same. Those are going to happen to every single person. You're going to have a situation where you struggle and you fail and you just do miserable. But if you fail on Tuesday and you're waiting all the way until next Monday to get back on track again, whether it's your weight loss or fitness or dealing with an injury or dealing with whatever it may be, you cannot do that. We have everything in life. The things that you're successful in life, you would never accept that. The things that you're successful in life, whether it's work or raising your kids or doing a certain thing, you would never sit there and go, well, I failed, so I guess I'll try again in a week or so. It just won't work. It won't work. And Joyce nailed it. She said, if you have a bad day, do not give up. One day off the wagon will not ruin your ultimate goals. She's right on, because we are all dealing with issues where we struggle, where we fail, where we just have an off day, and we set off with the best intention, and we're so serious, and we really want to see it happen. We want to see ourselves successful, and we fail. And our ability to get back up from that and get back on track again is directly related to our long-term results. If you can't get up at that moment and say, you know what, I messed up, it's okay, I'm going to learn from this, what I'm going to do next time is this, you're always going to struggle. You're always going to be in that situation where you're trying and failing and trying and failing, and you've got to learn to get past that and say, you know what, I can do this, I messed up, my responsibility, no one else but mine, I can't blame someone else for it, I've allowed myself to get off, and whatever may have happened, but I am going to get back on track again, and I'm going to do this the right way, and I'm going to be successful. And so you've got to take that time to realize that those failures are going to happen. Those failures are inevitable. Injuries, surgeries, deaths that we have, we have these traumatic things in life that happens. And the ones that are most successful are the ones that say, you know what, I'm not going to let this get me down. I'm not going to let this discourage me from trying. I'm going to use this as motivation to try even harder and to stay on track even more so. And until you get to that point where you're willing to learn from mistakes or learn from failures and get back up again with the right attitude, saying, you know what, I failed, I'm having a bad day, I'm having whatever it may be, I'm going to get on track and I'm going to do this right next time, you're gonna constantly struggle, because you've got to get that overall mindset. Now, when you're dealing with the individual struggles and individual obstacles to overcome, that takes time, and it takes learning, it takes discipline, it takes maybe someone to even help you and say, okay, the reason this did not work is this, the reason this failed is this, and that's okay. We all have things that we need other people to help us with, and in order to help overcome the long-term goals. That's okay. There's nothing wrong. You're not going to know all the answers. You're not, and that's okay. But you've got to be willing to say, okay, that didn't work right. This was a failure on this part. This is what I'm going to do to correct it. This time I'm going to change, and this time I'm going to be good long-term. Or, hey, you know what? I'm struggling with this. I can't seem to get past it. I'm going to call someone, get them to help me out, help me get past it. Joycelyn mentioned, having friends at the gym that are going to help her stay on track. And those are things that we all need and depend on. I don't care how strong or how independent or how successful someone is. We all need that accountability, that help, because we find those that are most successful have that. They're surrounded by the group of probably 4 to 5 people that motivate them, that encourage them, that keep them on track. And you've got to have that. You've got to have the right support system. But even if you don't have the right support system, as you start making those hard choices to do the healthy thing, you're going to find you become surrounded by the healthy people that are also in that same lifestyle. So if you don't have those friends yet that are that way, you'll get them. You will. You just have to keep working on it and keep striving and keep moving towards that goal. As you move towards that goal, you'll start finding friends that are also doing the same thing. You'll find that support, and you'll start learning from each other and encouraging one another. That's the beauty of it. But if you never get that right mindset and the right, just being determined, positive attitude about this, you're going to struggle forever. we all have responsibilities on things, and this isn't to neglect your responsibilities. It's not. But you've got this in you to where you can achieve success. You do. You've got to realize that you have the same abilities, same capabilities, same chance of success as anyone else does. It's yours to take. It's totally yours to take. And I've seen people overcome obstacles of serious injuries, serious surgeries, being morbidly obese. We've seen a lot of clients with different situations come through and just say, you know what, I don't care if I have diabetes. I want to get healthy. I want to achieve results, and I want to get on track and do this the right way. This is Joycelyn saying that when she first started her journey, she heard a lot of negative comments from those around her who were not ready to get healthy. And she ignored them and continued to make new friends. And I did the same thing. I had friends that would try to invite me to places and eat unhealthy foods, and they weren't supportive of it because they're losing a friend. I mean, do you realize that if your friend is suddenly starting to change and be healthier, not only are you starting to lose that friend, but you feel guilty about your own situation. So the best way to do it is to keep them from making you feel guilty. So they're going to discourage you. You can't expect support from people that don't get it and aren't trying to achieve that lifestyle. But if they're struggling with something and they can guilt you into eating something unhealthy as well, they feel better about themselves. When you make the right choice, they feel bad about themselves. So they don't want to lose a friend. They don't want to feel guilty about what they do. It's easier to sabotage you. And it's not malicious and necessarily done with intent. It's just human nature. We want to feel comfortable. We want to feel good about ourselves. And it's very uncomfortable when people are successful and achieving things that we're not achieving because we may not have that same discipline. So it's just important that when you're going through this, realize that these obstacles, these challenges are going to happen. You can achieve them. You can be successful, but you got to stay in the right mindset and say, you know what? I can do this. I will do this. I'm going to stay on track. And I promise you, if you can get the right mindset, there's nothing, no one, no how, nothing at all that will stop you from achieving it. So that's my thoughts as far as those that are successful and those that fail, as far as fitness goes or weight loss, overcoming an injury, whatever it may be. I'd love to hear your comments. And again, it's not as not to dismiss obstacles people overcome. I think I could show you a lot of people that have overcome some pretty crazy obstacles, pretty crazy injuries and surgeries that were still successful and still able to achieve a lot. And it's not to make you feel bad about your failures, because you shouldn't feel bad about failures. We all fail at things. There's nothing more. I think anyone that's been able to achieve success, Joycelyn or whoever it may be, I think they would love nothing more than to see other people who are successful as well and achieve the same thing. And it's one of those things that you can do. You can truly be successful in it, and you can achieve this. But you've really got to get the right mindset and say, you know what, this is important. I'm not going to let anything stop me. I'm going to stay on track. I'm going to get results, and I'm going to overcome these obstacles. And when I fail, I'm going to get right back up again. And then when I fail again later that day, I'm going to get back up again. And when I fail later again that day, I'm going to get back up again. So don't let it discourage you. Don't be ashamed of failure, because you can do this. I mean, failure is nothing more than a chance to learn and correct it and grow and get better at it in the future. So that's all I have for now. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thank you, Joycelyn, for the comments. And I couldn't see one of them. One of them got cut off, so I'll take a look at it here in a second to see. But thanks so much for tuning in, y'all. If you missed the video, be sure to rewatch it, and you're welcome to share it, like it, comment as much as you'd like to. I'd love to hear from you and what you think about it. So thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll be back with another topic hopefully tomorrow. Thanks a lot.